Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today in this video I'm planning to finish my sketches which I made on location. I made it with a pen only, so here are 3 sketches in this sketchbook, and I am planning to add some watercolor so you could see how I'm working with watercolor over the pen sketch. Before I start, I will just quickly explain which materials do I use on location. First of all, that's my sketchbook which I made. There is a video on my channel how I made this specific sketchbook. Here's Arches watercolor paper, cold press, 185 grams if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's 100% cotton. I usually paint only with one layer of watercolor, so it's enough to have thin paper. So what should I start? I will probably start with this quick sketch because it's very simple. So I will add some background and maybe some color to the people, see how it will go. What else I'm going to use? Usually on location I have one brush, a limited color palette. I usually got lots of questions about my watercolor palette, especially about the box. Where did I buy it? I can show you. This is a kids watercolor set. I bought it for $2 in local Walmart. It has some kids washable paints and some cheap brush. I usually throw that away and just squeeze my paints from the tubes. And the brush also is impossible to use it. Sometimes I use the handle, making my own tools for sketching, but not this brush. And those paints also impossible to paint. It feels like you're painting with a colorful soap, so I don't like it. That's why I just pull them out. But the box is very nice. It's light and you can put a brush in it, so keep that in mind. A little bit about the palette. I have a color swatch. I'm not going to swatch it right now. If you're interested in a particular this color set, I can make a video about that, how I make this limited color palette. But here are the colors which I use here. It's a golden ochre, quinacridone burnt orange, sepia, perylene green. One of my recent colors which I discovered is Denise green. It looks like sap green, but mixed from the different two pigments. Cobalt blue, one of my favorite blues, Cobalt turquoise, and permanent magenta. Here are some mixes. I usually mix the colors to check how well they mix together. What else I can get, because my palette is very limited, so I need to be able to mix some interesting colors. And what I'm looking for when I making the color palette, I'm looking for nice grays, so I can check which colors I can mix to get gray. Of course, I don't bring with me this swatch with numbers of the colors which I should mix, because I already familiar with all my colors. I can just choose whatever I need, and I remember that. This I do when I just squeeze those colors from the tube to have it as a reference. Okay, so I can put it somewhere here so you can see. And also I will place this white paper underneath the box cover. So I will be mixing my paints right here, and you can see what I'm using. Yeah, I know most of the colors look like just some blacks, but I know where are my paints. Okay, so maybe I will be a bit quiet when I'm painting, because usually I do it alone and I have no intention to talk to someone, but I will try to comment as much as possible. So as I mentioned, all those sketches I made on location, I prefer to take water with me as well, because I like to use regular brush, but sometimes I use water brushes. They also work well, but mostly I will use them not on the cotton paper, well, when I need less liquid or less color. So that was a very nice day at Stanford. I went there alone, and I came at the lunchtime, so it was very busy, lots of people walking and biking around. So I decided not to take my watercolors that time and just draw something with my pen. So I did as much as I can. Now I'm mixing very dark color, but not just one dark color, but two, to have some variations, because I want to make background very dark. It was very sunny day, and I want to show that everything else except the background is light and shiny. So I'm mixing cobalt blue with the sepia to make nice dark color, almost black. But since it's not black from the tube, it will have a variety of brown and blue in it, so it makes the picture looks nicer and more interesting. And also I'm mixing, this is a burnt orange, quinacridone burnt orange, with the same cobalt blue. It will be more like greenish brown. Yeah, also depends on the mixture. It's okay if they mix together. I just need some variety of dark color. And if you want to make perfect dark background, it will be a good idea to make your paper wet before you start. I don't worry if I paint over some small details. I can always add white with a pen or pencil. The umbrella is going to be light, not white, I guess, but much lighter than the background. Okay, let's start. You see how this color turned out? So it's not blue, it's not sepia anymore. It's some sort of gray. There were some plants and buildings on the background, but I'm not going to show that. I was sitting pretty far from those people. So let's pretend that the whole background was a bit blurry for me. And on the umbrella, I will make it a bit darker. I can just lightly show, like there were some trees also with some dark spots. While it's wet, you can move your paint around and play with it. And since it's very dark on this side of umbrella, I'm going to do that on the other side as well, so the background looks pretty solid. I took a picture of those ladies sitting there, but they were very far from me, so I don't even understand what color of their clothes should I draw. So I'm going to draw something different. I don't mind changing them. Okay, here lots of paint. So there were some stairs on the background. I remember I showed them. And also under the tables I will also make it dark. Sometimes I can add some splash of the pure color, like blue or brown, which I already have there, just to make my background look interesting. There was a building. I will make it lighter. Okay, and I also need to color this part. I want my umbrella to pop out, so I need to make all those parts around the umbrella very dark. Also, to make it interesting, while it's wet, I can add some water splashes. Let's see if I can do it still. I like this brush. It makes nice splashes. And maybe when it become more dry, I will make some splashes with the paint. Maybe even now I can try that. And for the umbrellas stand, I don't mind if my objects mixed with the background. I can always add the white details if I need them when it's dry. Like this. Okay. Kind of like it. Another thing which I sometimes do, I can work with a pencil. If I want to add some details on the background, I can take ink pencil. I have this one. It's green. I like this one more. Some dark brown pencil, and I can add, for example, dark lines where I need them. I can add some trees, some buildings details. So if there were some windows, I can add even windows. Probably I'm not going to do that right now. I can also add chairs. So while it's still wet, it works nice. There was that end of the table. Okay. Now let's do something with umbrella. It was white, but I'm not going to paint it, to leave it white. I'm going to tint it a little bit, and maybe cobalt blue and this gold ochre. It will be nice. Just a light shade of blue. Let's see. Light blue works nice. And yellow just to add some variety. Of course, leaving some white spots. And somewhere I need to make it darker, so I will take color from the background to show some shadows. Like this. And probably the lower part I will leave white. Now I need to add some color, so I will take pure colors to add some details to the people. I don't remember what color were their clothes, so I'll just take random colors which will work well with those, maybe even the colors which I mixed to the background. Let this one be dark. But also you need to leave some light around around her head. And let her her jacket be blue. It's absolutely fine if the color from her hair goes to her jacket. That's how the watercolor works. So I'm not going to do anything with that. And again, while it's still wet, I will use my pencil to add details for the chair. I want to make this top of her head lighter a bit. And maybe the background around her head I need to make a bit darker, but I will see it later if I still want it. This lady I will make with the light color, but I'm not going to make it that bright orange. I will add something to make it a little bit quieter. And again, this part which is close to us can be a bit darker. I can still add some very bright details like water bottles, some food containers. This lady was a bit older, so she was in something dark or very neutral. That's why I made the background around her a bit brownish and lighter, so I could add dark close to her. Dark. And for the dark, I'm going to mix colors which I didn't use. I'm going to mix this magenta and the green one. It will make this dark purple color. So I'll probably clean a small spot to make this mixture. And since I'm adding some other colors, I will need to add it to some other people, maybe to make it just a small clean spot of this color. Okay, this color, you can even, it's right here, here, and this dark green. See how it's turning deep purple, and if we mix them together, it become also black. I'm not going to make it black. I need rich dark color. Probably it's even a bit darker when I need it, so I'm going to lighten a little bit with the water. She had her phone in her hand. I can always add very dark detail with the pen at the end. And maybe I will give her some bright bag. There was a food container with some food in it. And the paper cup. Like this. Table still need to be very light because it reflects color of the sky. Okay, I'll add some details. Maybe this lady was a professor at the university. Oh, let's make it look very nice. Like this. And I have one more person, and I also want to make this background pretty dark and leave this thing very light. So I will probably use this dark mixture. Usually on location I draw just one picture if I'm using the whole process. If I'm doing the sketch and the watercolor, it usually takes me about 40 minutes to complete just one sketch. And since I decided to do only pen sketches, I could spend less time for each sketch. Like this. And also I need to add dark color under this table as well. very new experience for me to record the video and talk at the same time. So I hope it's not that boring to watch, because it's some spontaneous process. I don't know if I like it or not, but let it be. You can also take any mixtures I had before. And here. Sometimes it's interesting how you can think that everything is ruined, and then you do something to save your work, and it turns out very nice. So it's kind of the thing which I'm going to do right now, which I'm doing right now. And with this lady I need to be very careful, because she's on the edge of the paper, so probably I don't need to make her very dark. I need to paint very light, just to add some details. I'm saying light and taking very bright color. I will probably take this green mixed with a little bit of purple. It's going to be that light gray. And because she is in the shadow anyway, the umbrella covers her, so she's not that bright. Even if her clothes were bright, she still looks a little bit neutral because of the shadows. And I need to add some legs to those ladies. Since we can see them. And for that lady as well. Okay. Now I need to see how it looks. It's actually not that bad. Okay. Now the details. We still have some chairs. For that chair I can add some details. This table also need some stand, and that umbrella needs stand too. I like these pencils not because they can draw on the wet paper, but also because you can mix it with watercolor. I need something bright here. Usually water bottles are nice and have different colors to show personality of the person who has it. So they can be as bright as we want. And this lady holds the phone. Oh. Now I kind of like it. My sketch is completely dry, almost completely dry, and I can add some white details. For that I use this China marker. It's the pencil which can draw on almost any surface. It comes in different colors. I have yellow and white one, but I know also there is black and red pencil like this. And also I use gel pen. Sometimes I use white gouache to add some white details, but I don't have it anywhere close, so I'm not going to use them now. Okay, and I want to add some lights to the chairs, to the people. So whatever is needed. Here's the straw. Some light to girl's hair, to that chair. This pencil is good because you can add white details before you start working with the watercolor. It works as a wax crayon because it reserves white spots, but you need to keep in mind that you cannot remove it after that. So sometimes when you know that these need to be white anyway, you can reserve it with this pencil. But if you are not sure, you can still add the details later. So whenever I missed white spots, I can do it again. Also, if I want to show some spot of light, I can make it even on the background. For example, top of the stair. Okay, like this. And the same with the dark. If I need very dark details, I can also add them right now with the pencil or even with the pen, which I use to sketch. You also need to keep in mind that if you use pencil like me, this Derwent Inktense pencil, it's difficult to draw over this pencil. So, for example, on this spot, it's impossible to draw with the white, and sometimes it's even impossible to draw with the pen. But if it's just watercolor, you can still do it. So if you want to add very dark details somewhere, see, I can even show the legs. I think there is no right or wrong order of sketching, because it only shows your impression of some situation which you're painting. Depends what do you want to show on paper, which memories do you want to preserve. I didn't paint the faces because I'm afraid that it might be a little bit too bright or too dark, so I'm afraid I won't be able to get the color I want, so I prefer to leave them just white, which is also absolutely fine. And on this stage I can add some trees on the background if I feel so, but I don't want to. Maybe just some bushes with the white. And yes, since it's sunglasses, we'll make it black. These are And I didn't mention what pen I'm using. It's Lamy pen, Lamy Safari pen. It's the fountain pen, which comes with different thickness of the nib. It's I have the thinnest one, but I personally don't mind if it's thin or thick. I also like this type of Lamy pen. It's Joy series, and it has a flat nib, which is also comes in different sizes. So this is 1.1, and there is 1.5 and 1.9. I have all of them, and sometimes I change the pen. Depends on my preference. I'm pretty much satisfied with this sketch, and see you in the second part, where I will show another one. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon. Bye.